friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time, and I'm here for another garden update, and today is April 25th, the day that I'm shooting this video. I'm going to try to take you around the whole circumference of our property here, showing you just a few key things, some of the things that may be different from my last update. So let's get to this. Right now we're on the south side of our house, which is the front of our house. Here are the two grapefruit trees and my fig that I got from Lisa, and a couple of the nasturtiums I planted in there. And then going over to the opposite side of the deck, again you can see my strawberries really starting to grow. Even though it's cooled down quite a bit, they're taking off. But this is the one that's just blowing me away. It's blowing up, and it's got little buds all over it. So it's very likely little green berries coming on. I don't know, I might get a good crop of berries off of these, even though they're this particular gooseberry is apparently not supposed to do good in a pot. I know a friend that lives in this area that has one, and she just had a lot of just yummy berries on hers, which gave me the idea to do this. So more strawberries, chickens and chickens. This is my azalea. Yes, these have just been here all along, the azalea and the rhodie, long before we got into turning into this into an edible area. Don't know if I'll ever take these out, because there's something that stays green year round and, you know, provides some pretty color in the spring. This one will be blooming soon. My nasturtiums here, and then the Japanese red maple has to stay. That was Patrick's mom, so when she passed away we got that. Sorry, you probably can't hear me with the wind. So I have decided I am going to be putting some beets in here, and maybe over here too, but I also have some tiger beans. I think they're called tiger beans. I might be planting here. I haven't decided if I'm going to put them here or in the back. My rhubarbs are just looking great, and then you can see the potato plants now. I think there's only one pot over there, which is right there, that I don't see anything poking up yet, but it should soon. And then there's some random potatoes like right there that aren't covered, and back over there that were just left in the ground from last year coming back. And then over here you can see, I don't see any blossoms yet. Oh wait, yes I do. Some blossoms starting to come on. This is my quince tree right here. So last year I actually got quite a few, like maybe a dozen fruit on it, but all but one fell off. So I only ended up with one. But my cherry trees might actually get some cherries on them this year. So I'm seeing some blossoms. These are new as of last year, both of these. So one's a Bing, this one's the Bing, and the other one is a Stella. So a lot of cherry trees need another tree to, like Bing is one of them that needs another tree. This is the plum, another type of cherry tree to pollinate it, or as a pollinizer. But the Stella doesn't need one, but it is a good pollinizer for the Bing. Okay, now we're going to just run down this area. My herb gardens on this side and the other side are still a bit of a mess, but there are some things coming along. Yes, I have dandelions growing right among my golden oregano, but I don't mind. I have actually some radishes I was doing an experiment with. I don't think they're going to do good. I just haven't done great with radishes. So some thyme, yarrow, more thyme, which I've been harvesting some of the thyme and drying it up. More thyme, more thyme. This is my valerian. I've been, it would be a lot more full, but I've actually been cutting some leaves off and dehydrating them. Currant, okay, coming around to the west side here, another currant. Catnip, oregano, feverfew, sage, still not looking real pretty yet. More feverfew back there that just planted itself. Elderberry. There's an orange mint coming up there. There's lamb's ear. My biggest lavender that I have, another elderberry, lavender, lemon balm. I need to get out here and start harvesting that so I get more out of it. Oregano, lemon balm that either spread or seeded itself over here. Also, and then this right here is actually, see that right there I can tell is lemon balm, but this here is mojito mint. They look very similar, yet they are different. I can just tell by the leaf that this is lemon balm. Yep, that's lemon balm. Yet this one here is mojito mint. See the difference? The lemon balm is a little more pointy than the mojito mint. The mojito mint will get really big leaves on it. It's still very young yet. This is the other elderberry. So I have 3 elderberries. One is a different variety than the other 2 because they need pollinizers. So my peppermint's starting to do good, which is good because we go through a lot of peppermint here. Some more lavender back in there, rosemary. This poor sage still doesn't look great, but the one out front does. These ones always take a little longer, but this feverfew is going berserk. And this will be talked about in another video. An interesting new addition out here. Okay, out on the deck. This is about the only thing that's really doing great right now. My blueberries, flowers coming on them. Okay, my currants back here are doing much better than the ones out front. So I have two, one on each side in pots, just in front of the opening of the garden. And I've still have most of this open to the chickens. I took this as basically the gate. This is the part where I'll pull over there when I want to totally keep the chickens out of here. So I did plant a nasturtium there. Echinacea, I put a thing around it to help it, keep the chickens from tearing it apart. They pretty much leave it alone anyway, but that's actually helping it even more so. No beans coming up in this area yet between the panels because, it takes a little bit. But the green that you see in there is borage that's self-seeded, so I just let it do its thing. I am seeing because this is where I typically grow my tomatillos, and I'm starting to see little tomatillo starts coming up, but I also have some started in the greenhouse because those ones tend to come along better. Chickens keep throwing dirt all over this, so I'm in my squash potato pea patch here. So you can see my peas behind the Lexan are doing really good. And I do have a whole bunch more coming up. And I've got some more of a different variety of pea seed that I'll be talking about in the future videos. So back to the main garden bed, only the areas that are fenced off are the only things that got, from the chickens, are only things that have anything going on. So sunflowers, marshmallow planted all through here. So this is all marshmallow root that I broke off from other pieces or starts from seeds that fell. For my other marshmallow plants, that's another marshmallow there and some garlic. So all along here, and the reason they're planted all along here, the south side of the garden, is because these are all tall plants. So I want them back here so they don't, when they grow up, they don't shade out any other herbs and vegetables. So the whole peripheral is actually of the garden, except for a little spot over there, is blocked off from the chickens now. So that's one of my old marshmallow plants. It's the only old one left, and so I'm leaving it again for at least one more year. This is another one of my valerians. There's a small echinacea I started from seed from last year's plants. I've got spearmint coming back. There's another valerian. Why this one is such a different color from the other two, I have no idea. And it seems smaller, so I don't know if it's a completely different variety or what. But anyway, this is a marshmallow coming back from a chunk of root that didn't get dug up from one of the older plants. So I'm just going to leave it at least one more year. Echinacea's coming along. My chicory is still just kind of sitting there doing nothing. And then of course my lamb's ear, woolly lamb's ear, is doing good. And yes, I'll be putting lots more woolly lamb's ear seed up this next year and more. These are things I'm out of. Seed I'm out of. I'm out of yarrow. I'm out of woolly lamb's ear. I don't have valerian up yet. I did save a few seeds from last year, but this year I plan on saving a lot and then putting a bunch of those up on the store. Oh, and this pot here at the corner of the greenhouse, outside the greenhouse, where I have a strawberry, you can see where I planted some beans. They're starting to come up. They're the first beans to start showing of the ones I planted, because all the ones I put in pots I planted first before the ones out behind the Lexan. Okay, so going into the greenhouse, this is one of the main things I wanted to show you. I got most of them in the ground, and I keep the rest in pots. I just kind of space them out a little bit more. I put them back in the pot after I get out what I want and put in the ground. They might not look healthy color-wise, but that is simply because these areas here are still being left open for the chickens. That's why I did get some more netting. And so I did this so I could get my tomatoes in the ground because they needed to come out of those pots and be spread out. But we still need dry areas for the chickens to take their dust bath. So what happens though then is they kick dust everywhere, and so this is why the plants might look a little gray. They're just simply coated in dust. So that's one of the drawbacks. But so far it's working really good. It gives them a dry place to come in here when it's raining, like it has been the last couple days. So yeah, and then all my extra tomato plants, I like to have lots So if any of these, and anything goes wrong with any of these, I'll take one of those and just fill that gap with one of the ones out of the pot, and then anything after that, then I will just share with a couple of friends that need some tomato plants. Over here, my squash is coming up, my pumpkin and my butternut, but something's been chewing on it which looks suspiciously like slug. So I did put some slug bait here. This stuff is totally safe, it's organic, and it's not harmful to animals, just slugs. It will only kill slugs. So yeah, and even up here on a shelf, slugs find ways to hide out in here. This is rain country, and they get into the stuff and eat it. So I'm pretty sure that's what this is, but just in case it might be something else, I did use my homemade bug spray and sprayed the plants down really good. But since only these squash plants are what's being eaten, I'm pretty certain it's slugs. And these, I'm thinking this might be the holy basil, my Tulsi, that self-seeded in this pot, because I had grown it in one of these pots before, or a couple pots, and so that might be what's going on there, which is good. So once I take these out, because I should have some more squash coming up in here. Once these come out and go out in the squash bed, then I'll just let this fill up with holy basil, because I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So my peppers have not done anything but sit there. They're still alive and healthy looking, but they're not growing because it's just not warm enough. My other basil, my Emily basil, is doing good. I still have to keep, because this has got some horse manure that we got from last year that was just, yeah, full of seed. So I'm still having to come in here and weed all those out. But the Emily basil is coming along beautifully. Oh, I was going to show this. I do have one of my strawberries starting to, it's got flowers on it, so it's going to start getting berries. I had some more of this black netting left, so I just took that and wrapped around here, because even this fencing here won't keep the chickens' heads out from picking up the strawberries. They'll leave the plant alone, but I'm pretty sure they'll eat them strawberries once they come on. Back in the greenhouse again, because the lettuce I'd planted a while back in here. This is the only lettuce I have, and I've been eating on it. It's not really, hasn't been enough to make a salad yet, but I do come out here and snack on that. I'll grab a couple dandelion leaves and then a few leaves off of those. Seems like as far as a lot of this stuff goes, I'm surprised at how far behind my lettuces are, but I do have a bunch more coming up in other pots outside, so that I'll have more than enough. And down in here, I see random kale coming up too, right there. So I see those coming up all over the place, which is good. So I'll have some kale. These ones, I won't leave those in here. I'll move them out to the main garden once they get big enough. And once I totally block off this main garden area, which I think is going to be one more week. Because in about a week, I'm going to put the corn in out here and some other things. More nasturtiums. I have some ideas for a few other things I'm going to put up here. I still haven't totally decided exactly what all I'm going to put in there, but I'm working on it. But most of that over there is going to be corn. And hopefully it will do well. We're going to try a sweet corn for the first time this year. All right, well, that's it for my garden update for this week. Be watching for more to come down the road. I'll get more detailed as more things start coming along. For example, I'll be doing a video just on the West Herb Garden so I can break down everything that's in there. Most likely, I'll still forget to mention a bunch of stuff, but there's a lot of stuff in there that I forget because it's not up yet, so I don't even think to mention it. But anyway, so be watching for those. I'm going to try to keep these coming out weekly. As things really get going, it's possible you may be able to see 2 a week, but I tell you, it's been great having some herbs already to be able to harvest and dry for using in teas, in extracts, you know, medicinal extracts, or for using in cooking and baking. And I tell you, the capsule ones that I made for pain, those ones are excellent. I had an opportunity to try them the other day and they worked great. Only needed to take one of each. I took one of the turmeric and one of the other herb blend of all garden grown herbs. And if you're interested in that video, I do have a video out showing you how you can make it and what I used in it. And I'll go ahead and put that down below. I'm very happy with it. And also Patrick, he had some kind of, I can't remember what it was, back pain, neck pain or something one day. And I gave him one of each and it took the pain away and he didn't need any more. So what I find, just taking it once usually does the trick. So if you're interested in any of that video or anything else that I'll be linking down below, don't forget you need to click on show more or the little gray arrow that's just below the video. It will depend on what kind of device you're on. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.